Assalamu alaikum. I welcome you all to another page of Lime Green Journal. A brief information about this venture. Lime Green Visual Art Space is excited to present a series of talks titled as the Lime Green Journal that tells stories of creative journeys, cultural and conceptual exchange, and artistic cross-fertilization, where we converse and explore the fascinating minds of creative people. We hope to inspire curiosity, ignite your imagination, and provoke new ways of thinking about the world. For this feature, our guest is Sawera Jahan. Sawera Jahan is a visual artist who graduated as a major in painting from the National College of Arts in 2019. She kick-started her career as a children's book illustrator at Orenda Private Limited in 2020. Her work later expanded to the medium of animation at Puffball Studios, where she worked as assistant artist on the award-winning short film Swipe, which was made in 2020, and has made her directorial debut in Seabirds, which was made in 2022, from the Lost Migration series. Sawera is currently animating videos for Shehri Pakistani and aims to spread awareness about various social issues in a humorous tone. She also takes up freelance illustration and animation work on the side. One of her very notable projects being a music video for Seven of Pakistan. Sawera, thank you for being a part of this venture. Really excited for all the fun packed up.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited too. Thank you.
You're welcome. So tell me, how do you read a person's character and then translate the reading into a visual?
Oh, wow. That's a very good question.
Let's say
I feel like
if you meet someone, what's the first thing that you notice in that character?
मैं पूरा character ही देखती हूँ. I don't think there's one thing I notice. I feel like I'm a very visual person. I don't really one thing that I notice. I think the way they carry themselves, the way they talk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a very good question. because it comes so, I feel like it's such an inherent part of me, just looking at people, and मेरी observation हमेशा से इतनी strong है कि I've never really tried to tap into क्यों strong है या मैं कैसे वहां तक पहुंचती हूँ. But it's always been so easy for me to just look at people and just start drawing them. I don't think there's एक कोई चीज that I notice about them. I think it's the entire person. Mm-hmm. I have these little departments in my head, just I categorize people. Like instantly when I meet them, I'm like, oh, you're the kind of person who probably washes their hands after they shower, and you're the kind of person who loves to watch horror movies. And इस तरह की काफी categories हैं तो I don't know if there's anything specific I notice first, but.
And what do you notice about yourself when you look at yourself in the mirror? Does it change every day?
My hair.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes, very hard to manage.
And
my
so,
hair.
Is it that you enjoy drawing the most in your illustrations?
I feel like subconsciously मैं बालों पे, and a lot of my characters have very long chins.
Mm-hmm.
So probably face cuts and hair mostly.
Mm-hmm. And so what is your earliest memory of doing something creative? It could be drawing, it could be singing, it could be performing something.
Earliest memory, I feel like my earliest memory of there's so many. I was बहुत छोटी जब से मैं अजीब creative चीजें कर रही हूँ. We actually, funny story, we found these family videos a few days ago and we were watching them, and I must be like 6, 7 in them. We had even उससे भी छोटी, and I had this like those hand cams we used to have, and मैं अपनी बहन की video बना रही हूँ, and I'm like pretending like हम कोई drama हो रहा है, and then when it ends, I like face the camera towards the wall and I start like using my fingers to pretend like, oh, ye credits roll ho rahe hain. Oh my god, that was so funny to me. I was like, kya, kyun, main kaun hu? But yeah, there's so many early memories. Isse bhi pehle ki I remember finding those little what do you call them, the strainers जिनमें से चाय strain करते हैं.
Chutney.
Remember, chunnies. I remember putting them on my eyes, sticking them on my eyes and wearing my mom's shawl and pretending like I'm a fly for God knows what reason. But is tarah ki kafi cheezein hain. And I've been drawing for as long as I can remember. So yeah. very
So do you record these memories somewhere visually, or do you write them down? How do you archive your ideas or your memories or the inspiration or anything that has actually given you a motive or a reason to do something?
I'm not very good at archiving. Actually, I need to be better at that. My current ideas, how I archive them would be, I use a lot of voice notes. I write stuff down. I have this Photoshop file made a computer. It has like 50 layers, God knows how many. बहुत भारी file हो गया. But whenever I have an idea, I quickly open it and make और layer बनाती हूँ and I start drawing in it. Most of my ideas are archived through drawing. I'm not that good with words. Like I said, I'm a very visual person, so I'm more comfortable. जब तक मेरे सामने एक visual नहीं होता, I can't seem to lock that down. Voice notes when I really need to just get something out of my head. When there's a lot going on, I'm like, oh, yeah, idea hai, ye ho sakta hai, ye ho sakta hai, but I can make this and that. But that's mostly for just to like clear my head in the moment and not so much my future self to come back and finish this. But mostly I draw a lot. Mostly I archive through drawing, yes. And the earliest memories that we were just talking about, thankfully my dad had all of that on camera, so I didn't need to, but no, mostly drawings.
So don't you think the comical nature, the aspect of your drawing, the fun, the juvenile character of your illustration, something which is there's innocence, and then at the same time there's seriousness as well. You bring joy out of the ordinary, mundane scenes from the daily life. Do you feel like the earlier memories, those creative memories, they have informed them now, unconsciously or subconsciously?
I'm sure.
Yes.
I'm sure they have. I mean, there's no reason. I'm sure har kisi ki, earliest memories or whatever, their childhood and all of these things, they do add to their work no matter what. Mera to kaam hai hi ye. I obviously draw, like you said, these little in-between mundane moments, the bigger moments of life and the bigger milestones, jo beech mein thodi transitionary really in-betweens hoti hain. I love drawing those. So I think mera to bahut obvious hai ki obviously my life pretty much is subject to my work. Like my life is subject to my work. But even other than that, people, every artist, I feel like unki earliest memories, it does somehow seep through their work. It's inevitable, I think. I'm not sure how or why, but I do feel like that is true.
So that's one tool for charging your drawing or your visual abilities, right? So tell me about your creative process. Is it super solitary? Are you someone who's very sneaky and secretive? Are you private? Do you draw or you record yourself in isolation, or can you do it? Or can you do it amongst friends?
Amongst friends, sure, but a very selective few people. But no, I'm generally very, very private. It's funny because for my personal work, it's a very straightforward process. I don't think it's very straightforward. I almost always know maine kya banana hai. I sit down, I lay my things out, and I just draw it. Jo bhi, but at work, at Puffball especially, there's so many times when we're sitting and we're brainstorming and I'm soching kya karna hai, and it's going to be like a 40-minute long meeting and they're talking and I'm just sitting there, and ghante baad koi bolega, Sawera, are you there? Are you processing? Do you have any ideas? And I'm like, no, I would rather, like I said, I need to draw things. I need to have a frame of reference to start brainstorming. Mere dimag mein kuch nahi hota, sara on paper hota hai. And a lot of the times I do this thing a lot where I start with a smiley face and then I let it guide me. Acha, this is my frame of reference now. Where are we going with this? Should I put glasses on it? अच्छा इसको कहीं किसी कमरे में बिठा देते हैं. So just build on that slowly. So yeah, again, very visuals. Everything needs to be drawn and in front of me as a visual. वरना मैं दिमाग में नहीं. In fact, even in NC, I remember two of our teachers, really great teachers. You might know them, Ma'am Fatma Hussain and Aisha Kamal. They've had a very, very huge impact on me. I remember them walking in and be like, "Acha, what's the progress?" And I'd be like, "Ma'am, abhi soch rahi hu, abhi kuch kiya nahi hai. I'm thinking of what I need to paint." And they'd be like, kya dimag mein kya hi ban jayega? You need to have it out, drawing ke through socho. And that helps a lot. And that has been my process throughout up until today. I can't think in here. I have to think on paper.
So it's almost like a reversed situation over here. Like usually people,
Yes.
they cook the ideas in their minds. They spend hours and days and weeks just researching, constructing that inside their mind. They go completely
But you
numb.
need, मुझे समझ नहीं आती अब कि like how can you do that? You need to have like the chain in your like of ideas that it's like within 5 minutes आप 6,000 ideas discard कर चुके हैं, but wouldn't you want to see कि आप क्या क्या discard करके कहाँ पहुँचे हो? I feel like it makes you more aware of your own process and helps you tap into how you've created what you've created.
So what's your research process? Do you read books? Do you watch movies? Do you look at other people's work? Do you mindlessly scroll and then just enjoy being Vela? Because this was this very amazing guest we just had this honor of speaking with, and he talked about celebrating being completely Vela, like enjoying being Vela, like doing nothing at all. That's a period where you are in sort of like in an incubator, right? You're cooking it, you're just allowing the energies flow in, flow out, and
I
then
don't
suddenly
think I
there's
have.
something. So
Yeah.
what do you do?
There is
Do you relate with
research.
it?
I do. 100%. 100%. I've never consciously thought that there is no research process, honestly. I enjoy looking at people's work. I save a lot of work that I like. There's no particular artist that I used to be very impressed with Amanda Oleander's work. She's an illustrator in California.
Yeah.
Uske kaam se main bahut influenced thi. And I remember even through my thesis, I would really dissect each and every drawing of hers. I want my own to look like this. But eventually, obviously, aapka ek apna style ban jata hai. You grow out of that. And when I realized that, I stopped looking up to artists and putting them on a pedestal कि ओ अच्छा मुझे मेरा काम उस तरह लगना चाहिए. But of course, there's a lot of, I watch a lot of cartoons. I watch a lot of cartoons, a lot of animated movies, but I'm never consciously watching them इस नियत से कि अच्छा मैं काम के बारे में बहुत कम सोच रही होती हूँ when I'm doing like वो eventually उनका influence मेरे काम में नजर आ ही जाता होगा, but no, I'm never conscious about any research I need to do or
So how do you describe the co-concern of your creative work, something that you've done for yourself, not the commercial work or the work you've done for other people, just solely for yourself, be it a smiley face, maybe scribbling on your hand? What concerns drive you?
What concerns drive me? What concerns, core concerns of my work? That is a good question. I don't think there's anything. I feel like now that I'm talking to you, I'm realizing I need to be way more conscious about why I'm doing what I'm doing.
No, it's good. It's good because certain times, you are you're so engrossed in your process and enjoying the visual vocabulary that you have that you certain times don't really realize these little basic
I feel like
things,
maybe.
right?
Yeah. So like I said, मैं बहुत कम बोलती हूँ घर में. If my family saw this interview, they wouldn't believe this is me. I don't talk. So I feel like my work really serves me in a way कि अगर so there's a lot of illustrations of me and my family in our TV lounge. हम लोग बस बैठे हुए, we're just like eating moongfalis or sitting in front of the TV or just stuff like that. I feel like that is the only way I can express myself. That is the only way I can get through to them. I feel like that is my love language. Because uske alawa maine bolna to hai nahi kabhi. I feel like I do it a lot for myself. I do it a lot for the people around me. That is basically my voice, right? So yeah, I guess so. I guess that's what it is.
So tell me, do you have a studio space, a little corner, a little nook, some, a part of your home, somewhere that you feel like, yes, I can conceive the ideas and this is the best place for me to birth them out? And what's it like? Describe it. Draw a picture of your studio space.
I promise it is underway. My studio is underway. It's been such an overdue project. I do not have a designated studio space. It keeps changing. I have been trying to make one in my room, but I don't want it to be in my room because I feel like it has to be separate. But aajkal there's like this little study room in my house. He's passed away now, but I'm making good use of that room. It's like just this little tiny room in the house. It's not too big. And I feel like if I ever were to make a studio of my room, it's a tiny nook in the house, and and just chotu sa desk hai, and it's a little separate from the ghar, so there's not a lot of people come in there. So I love that. I need my privacy and my calm when I'm doing my work. So yeah, that is my studio space for now, but it is underway. And I need one, and I will make one.
So for your ideal studio space, would you paint the walls or would you keep them white?
I would draw on the walls probably. I wouldn't. I would paint them myself. I would have a lot of my illustrations, a lot of my characters. मुझे बचपन से इतना शौक है मैं दीवारों पे drawing करूं, and मुझे अभी कभी भी मौका नहीं मिला. So I would probably draw on the walls a lot of characters, a lot of doodles, a lot of speech bubbles. I would have a lot of people come in and draw whatever they want to draw. So they would, that's what the walls would look like.
That's wonderful. So they always say that, every single form of art has this ability to criticize or give a positive criticism, constructive criticism, voice out or show and give opinions about the society they live in, the culture they are born in, or the culture that is affecting them, or which is beneficial for them. Do you think your art has that power to criticize the culture around you, and do you feel like it does bring a change? It could be a setting of 4 friends sitting together and you're talking about it via your drawings or illustrations. Could be just one post on Instagram or a story that you put up. You've drawn something and it talks about a very sensitive thing. It talks about something that's very deep to understand. So do you think your work has that integration with the form of giving criticism towards culture or society or people or trends or traditions and fashion of the world?
I'd like to think so. I feel like everyone's work does. बेशक वो intend करे ना करें, I feel like it says a lot. It speaks to people, and everyone's work is always saying something, even if they don't know what it's saying. मेरा काम का सब्जेक्ट इस तरह का है कि मैं सोच नहीं हूँ कि उसको like of course it has the power to say all the things you were just saying. It does all those things, but I don't know, you tell me. Does it?
It absolutely does. It has a voice because you just created a language for yourself, right? Yeah, it has all the phonetics, the alphabets, the grammar, the vocabulary, how you create a sentence out of those visuals. It is your own language. And what a
Yeah.
beautiful thing it is to be the owner of that language, right? At a certain
Yeah.
times, obviously, we're always not नहीं कहते, लेकिन बाज औकात we are silenced. We're like खामोश हो जाओ, इस चीज के बारे में
Yeah.
सवाल नहीं करते, इस चीज के बारे में बात नहीं करते. There's so many topics, like, very sensitive and hardcore topics which are taken very lightly, and it sort of the sensitivity is sucked out of it. And the lot of artists around us, we see them, they're doing amazing work by highlighting their concerns. And I strongly feel that, I can connect with you, because there was a point where I completely went quiet and I would not speak. I would only draw. I was like, I don't want to talk to you. I just don't talk to me. That's it. And so us khamoshi mein bhi, there was so much expression. And that expression really did change people around me, who felt like, there's something that they're doing which is having a strong impact. It could be about the way they speak. It could be about the way the adjectives they use. It could be the way they respond to people. It's about how they treat human beings in their lives, right? So
Yeah.
my question to you was, do you think the illustrations that you make, or the stories that you create, they have that power, they have that strength to bring a change in the structure of criticism that is around us?
I do think so. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like anyone's work, as long as it's coming from an honest place,
Yes.
as long as it's their very honest voice, I feel like it will reach the kind of people it needs to reach, or they're intending to reach. There's artwork for every person in this world. There's something for everyone out there to relate to look at and go like, yes, I feel that, I relate to it. That's what I want to say. That's what these are my values. These are what I feel. These are my, this is what I would want to say to the world. And this person is saying it. And I feel like not just my work, I feel like any piece of art that comes from a very honest place has that power.
So tell me, what are your influences? Are there any certain figures, any icons, any subject? कोई movement हो जाए, कोई art school हो जाए, कोई thinking methodology हो जाए that inspire your work?
Just me, my friends, my family, my life. Very self-obsessed.
Amazing. I love that. I love that.
Because मैं इतना fascinate होती हूँ इन चीजों से. Like I would literally घंटे बाद I could draw this talk series, this Zoom call, and I would call it an illustration, and I will post it, and it will be an artwork for me.
Wonderful.
I'm not the kind of person who will ever run out of ideas. मुझे कभी ऐसा नहीं होता कि अच्छा क्या बनाऊं. The kind of the subject of my work, the kind of stuff I like drawing, it's so abundantly around me at all times कि मुझे कहीं और जाना नहीं पड़ता to find inspiration. I love drawing myself. I love drawing my friends. I love drawing everything and anything in front of me. All the most ordinary things that we're more accustomed to forget, right? Like a drive back from home when your friend is just talking and talking and you don't know what they're saying because you're so tired, and you like, wo kya hai? That's not like a moment you tend to remember, right? But I could draw that. I could draw everything and anything. So I don't feel like I said, a few years ago मेरी थी कुछ artists जिनसे मैं बहुत influence होती थी, but not anymore. I feel like I found my voice finally, and I feel like this is what I want to do, and I don't need to. Of course, I look at work and stuff, and there's a lot of people's work that inspires me. And मुझे एकदम से वो motivation मिलती है कि oh, I want to also draw like this, and I want to make work that ये लोग भी तो काम कर रहे हैं, मैं क्यों नहीं कर रही? But no stark influences. I don't think. Yeah.
It's really amazing to know that you are your own powerhouse. You charge yourself. That is amazing. That's wonderful.
I do.
And I hope whoever is listening to this and whoever listens and watches this video also takes that energy and understands the power of believing in yourself and taking the energy out of yourself without depending on anyone, without depending on those motivational speeches or going to someone else and seeking that, but like just the mere fact that you are enough for yourself, and that shows in your work. So which aspect of your work enables you to be the most creative?
Hmm.
Hmm.
Every sort of limitation, I feel like. Time especially. Oh my God, I'm such a good worker under pressure. My
That's your
brain works.
motivation? That deadline is your motivation?
I wouldn't say it's my motivation, but my brain just switches to a mode that I cannot tap into otherwise. I don't know why. मैं ऐसे ऐसे जुगाड़ निकाल लेती हूँ एंड मेरी बस थिंकिंग ऐसी क्रिएटिव हो जाती है बिकॉज अच्छा टाइम नहीं है लेकिन ये बात करनी है कैसे करना है जस्ट इंस्टेंट आइडियाज कमिंग आउट ऑफ गॉड नोज वेयर so in fact the film I directed Seabirds उसमें हमारी deadline काफी छोटी थी काफी tight थी and there's so many decisions I've had to make because of time constraints and even resources का कम या जो भी but I feel like that's where your most creative ideas are born out of जब चीज़ ना हो and आपको बस you know what you want to say, but you have very limited amount of resources. I feel I work very well under that kind of pressure.
So tell me what excites you the most? What makes you restless that you really want to create this, you want to make this? Is it humor? Is it tragedy? Is it joy? Is it anger? What is it?
It's humor.
It's
A
humor?
lot of the time, it's definitely humor. Yeah. Um, I love performing. I just want an audience. It's very contradictory to the kind of person I am because I'm very private and I'm very socially anxious as well. But as long as I have an audience and मैं बस funny हो जाऊँ किसी तरह, बस लोग हंसते रहे मेरी बातों पे, I love that. And if I'm sitting with a bunch of friends and something funny happens, वो जो एक drive एकदम से मिलती है, oh my God, I need to draw this. I can already imagine how funny of an illustration this would be. Humor, sure, yeah.
So do you often use humor as a mask to cover your lowest moments in life?
I think so. I
Mhm.
think so. Yes, I think so. Yeah.
And does it
Uh,
then trickle down into your creativity as well? The way you draw, how does it slow down your process? Does it make you pause? Does it paralyze your abilities? What does it do? Because it's a very heavy thing to do.
it is, yeah. No, I'm not funny all the time. uh, but I think the last illustration मेरे अपने personal काम की that I even uploaded on Instagram was a moment I shared with my dadi and I. She passed away very recently,
I'm sorry.
and she had a very integral part in making me who I am today. She pretty much raised me, and ये मैंने illustration काफी महीने बाद बनाई थी of her passing away, and I feel like it does for to be able to make something like that as opposed to making something that's just oh, this is just a funny illustration that I'm going to make. It definitely obviously asks for more time and more thought, and yeah, it does slow me down, but I feel like वो उसकी ज़रूरत भी होती है to make something like this.
And so that's the emotional response that led to that creation, and then it stayed with you, right? So there's no manipulation of that emotion, or it's not being changed over time. It's constant because it's transparent. It's so true to you. So tell me, what emotions or responses do you hope to create to your audience with your work?
Do you remember that very specific feeling you would get when you were a child and you would look at children's books illustrations, especially those जो watercolors में बनी होती थी? Me personally, at least, I would look at them, and I can look at them for hours even abhi.
Yes.
And feeling you get when you look at a picture and you want to just be inside of it. You want to just stare at it for hours, and you बस मैं किसी तरह इधर घुस जाऊँ. Why can't our world look like this? Definitely that. Definitely feelings of warmth, feelings of feeling like you're home, feeling like you've been hugged in a very non-physical way. I hate physical contact, so I would like to pass that on to other people as to my people.
Is that how you hug people? You just draw something and give it to them. It's like, that's my hug
Yes,
page.
just throw them at their face. Yeah.
So if your creativity had a name, what would it be?
If my creativity had a name,
Yeah.
if my creativity had a name, I don't know. It's
Take
सोचने
your
में
time,
लगता है.
take your time, think about it. It's a very interesting question because it's something that sort of covers everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think? Can you think of something? I can't think of anything.
It could be an emoji.
No, I don't think there's any one single emoji. There's so much. If my creativity had a name,
Yeah.
that's the question.
What would it be?
Wow, अब मैं जितना सोच रही हूँ उतना blank होती जा रही हूँ. It's a very
It's
good
interesting,
question.
no? I really hope that you think about it later as well. It's like,
It's a great question. It's a great question. Yeah, I feel like I need to think.
So tell me, they say artists and authors and creative people, they often become embodiments of the cities that they've lived in, the houses they've lived in, um, or intimately associated with a particular space where they've had memories with their loved ones, where they've spent their childhood or teenage or their current lives. Where do you feel like you belong the most? The most, even it could be current life.
Where I have belonged the most. I don't think it's any physical place. I feel like it has a lot to do with the people I surround myself with. I feel like even the idea of home keeps changing for me. So where I have belonged the most. I feel like up to I can name a few, but the first time I had this feeling was surprisingly in college, in NCA. Yeah, I feel like that's the first time I found people that I could actually connect with, who understood me, and who I could genuinely be myself around. जिनसे मैं बात कर सकती थी और जो मुझे समझ सकते थे, very rare. So I feel like I know that's the first time I felt like, okay, I really belong. Even though I have like really, really bad memories of that place, would not go back there again. But there's a lot of good memories too, obviously. Lekin even abhi bhi kabhi main jaun वापस, तो I do feel like, acha, this is home. I feel very confident there. I feel like, acha, even though ab to jo log hain, I don't know them anymore, but I still feel like I belong here. I know all these people. This is my home. This is my place. I can always be myself here. I'm always going to be accepted here. So that's just one of the, I'm not giving it too much credit. I don't want to, but that's the first time I felt like I belonged somewhere. उसके अलावा, I feel like it's just my family and my closest friends who make me feel like I belong. I could go anywhere in the world with them. I don't think it's any physical place. I wouldn't name a physical place.
Are you an indoor person or an outdoor person?
Indoor, I think. I say that and I'm like, no, indoor. Mostly indoor person, for sure.
I have a very interesting
My social
question.
battery and maybe outdoor battery.
Come
Yeah.
So let's talk about the areas of your creative process where you're not confident and the areas where you lack. What are those areas and how do you think about improving those areas?
Having to start an art discipline. I lack that so much.
Discipline.
I would like discipline for sure. I would like to draw every day something, even agar 2 minutes, even if it's just one line, but I would like to make this a practice for myself. And I've been telling myself this for the longest time, and mujhse nahi hota. that for sure, discipline. And almost always I finish an artwork and I start to dislike it. And the moment I get it out of my system, the moment it's finished, I'm like, "Ye kya hai? This is not what it looked like in my head. And this is not what I meant for it to be." And I will leave it for like a few days and I'll come back to it. And be like, it's not that bad. And then I will probably show it to other people, Joby. But it's very annoying because I tend to forget pieces I make and then wo bas bari hote jate hain. And then
in that Photoshop file.
in that Photoshop file, yeah.
Hearing about that file is actually giving me anxiety.
I know, I need to sort it. I need to sort that file out.
I hope your computer doesn't crash. I hope you don't lose that drive.
It crashes so much. I feel like it's because of that damn file. No, हाँ, ये बहुत होता है. So I feel like I was a very firm believer of telling people, hey, it's okay if you don't upload your work online. It's fine. It doesn't define you as an artist. Your self-worth isn't attached to it. And that is true. That's still true. I believe that. But जब से मैंने post करना शुरू किया, it's done a lot of good for me as well. It is the motivation that I need. मैं एक चीज upload करती हूँ, then I'm like, okay, there's some sort of accountability now. अब शायद मुझे और post करना चाहिए या जो भी. This is just my own personal way of motivating myself. And so I wish जब मैं कोई चीज बना लूँ, whether I think it's bad, whether I think it's good, I want to be able to share it with the world. No matter what I think it looks like or how I feel about it, I want other people to see it regardless. So that's something I would like to work on.
There's this very grave issue in our country of copyright, of owning the work that you put on social media. And this is something that a lot of creative people, they struggle with. And I think you've also been there in that position where you feel like, oh, if I put my work online and if someone steals it, and if someone plagiarizes, and if somebody takes it and makes it into a larger project, and then how am I going to deal with that? Has there ever been a situation or an episode in your life you had to deal with that? If no, then do you have the fear of your work being plagiarized?
I've never had that fear.
That's amazing.
Ever. You're saying this, and I'm like, oh, haan, वाकई ये हो सकता है. But even thinking about it doesn't scare me. I actually very recently started telling myself, यार कोई sign तो कर दिया करो अपने काम पे. कुछ anything, take ownership. But that's never something that's crossed my mind. There's a lot of times मैंने देखा है काफी लोगों का काम who do follow me. मैं बड़ी stalking, even people with like 2 followers, I'm also stalking them. ये कौन बंदा जो मुझे follow कर रहा है. I've seen a lot of people's work जो बहुत obviously लग रहा होता है कि अच्छा ठीक है ये शायद ये वाला character मेरी उस illustration से उठा के trace करके बना दी and all of those things. ये काफी हुआ है. But no, this isn't something that bothers me that much. Obviously, अगर मैं काफी बड़े scale पे काम करना शुरू करूँ, तो तब that would be an issue, and I would need to think about it. But no, like the personal work that I'm doing and I'm putting out on my personal account, कभी भी नहीं, never. Doesn't cross my mind.
That's amazing, and I wish and I hope people also try to inculcate that habit within themselves to not. Do not be scared, or do not think of it as a barrier between you and the world you want to share your work with. Because I always feel like your creativity, your art, something that you're amazing at, it has a sense of responsibility that it has to be an act of service as well. That service is projected towards this community that you have. It's also about fostering a community around you and to yourself as well. So what do you wish to change about yourself through and with your creative process?
Oh, there's so many things.
Tell us.
What do I wish to change about myself through my creative process?
Yes.
I feel like I kind of already, through my creative process, changed something about me. Uh, I feel like um, hmm.
Could be the way you think, could be the preconceived notions you've had about something.
I feel like I would like to stop relying so much on my artwork to speak for me. I feel like काफी बार चल जाता है मेरे लिए चल जाता है, but I feel like I also need to have an actual voice other than
Visual.
visuals. Yeah, it works for me, but I feel like काफी बार काफी जगहों पे I lack where I need to have a voice. So, like, if you just asked me this question, I could draw it out for you in a second, but I can't. So,
And you don't have to be, I strongly believe that you don't have to be apologetic about it or feel like, you're
yeah,
lacking here.
yeah,
I think it's just your mechanism. That's how you train. That's you. That's what distinguishes you
yeah.
from other people who have a voice and who have
Huh.
louder
Which is why I
voices.
was a little hesitant when I was answering you, because I was like, that's not, I don't entirely believe that,
Yeah.
because I also like that about myself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I feel like it's good enough of a medium to communicate what I'm thinking, what I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
So why not? But
I mean, can you imagine yourself as very talkative, batuni, bug, 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 bug all the time? Would you not get annoyed by yourself? Because, sometimes we do wish for things, but we don't realize what effect that's going to have on us because we haven't lived that reality. We haven't lived that version that we have on our minds, right? You
yeah,
tell me, if you were someone with a 5 feet tongue and you would constantly be blathering and talking all the time, not letting any other, you know, thought process come out, how
yeah.
would you feel? Like, let's put you in a situation. Let's just create an imaginative
I
scenario.
physically cannot. I am telling you. May so there's this really good friend of mine. She recently moved to Lahore. वो
Mm-hmm.
बहुत बातें करती है, right? And जब से वो गई है, I've realized मैंने उस दिन उससे फोन पे like कोई 10 मिनट की बात की थी. And my throat started to hurt. I was like, wow, I physically cannot speak. मेरी बहुत कम capacity है बोलने की. I really cannot. So
Mm-hmm.
I can't even imagine. मैं नहीं imagine कर सकती कि मैं बस बोले जा रही मैं क्या बोल रही हूँ. I don't even have that many words to say. मैं क्या बोल रही हूँ. I can't imagine. I can't.
So your illustrations, they have a voice. They have a very, very strong voice, and they're so relatable. They're so true to the environment we live in. It feels like you've drawn my condition. It feels like I'm having those peanuts. I'm wrapped up in a kambal. I'm sitting in my lounge. Why
I'm
is Sawera
so
drawing me?
I'm so happy to hear that.
So, like, the impact of some visual that has, on the viewer, and the strongest part is to have the relatability. That aspect is so strong that's what draws you closer, and that's what ignites that curiosity to check out the person's work. अब इसने क्या
Yeah.
बनाया है? Feel like you put yourself in that
We're all
illustration.
the same. We're all living
We're
the
all
same
the
life.
same, and the best thing about your work is that when I'm looking at your drawings, I'm looking at your creative work, it does not make me feel like I'm the only one in this world.
Hmm.
Feels like, okay, there are other people. That's not a bad thing to feel, right? It's just like, okay, we all are together in this.
Yes.
Agar ghar mein teende pake and I don't want to eat that tinda, I think this feeling is also relatable to a lot of people who don't want to eat tinda. They want to have KFC.
Universal. Hmm.
So it's just like certain times it's so it becomes, as we're growing, as we're aging, as we're talking, as there's more awareness, as there are more conversations around us, we feel like अगर हम बहुत छोटी भी बात डिस्कस करेंगे वो उसका बहुत पहाड़ बन जाएगा. So let's just not talk about it. So but looking at your drawings, just like, yes, that is important, that this ordinary situation is important.
So important.
I hate winters. And you know, one of the illustrations is about winters. It's like,
Yeah.
yes, I literally, it makes me feel like I want to print it out and distribute it amongst all of those people in my family around me who like, oh, we love winters, but why don't you like winters? And I'm like, no, you need to understand. And so just to understand that core feeling, that sentiment.
That's so funny because I love winters and मैंने वो इस intent से बनाई थी कि oh, this is so cozy and this is so nice.
Yeah, but usko
Someone who
like,
hates winter can also
and exactly, and like taking that and like putting my interpretation to it, it's like, ah, yes, I know what it's like to, you know,
yeah.
be this person. So tell me, have you ever felt that kind of relatability with someone else's work? If you look at some other person's illustration, या कोई comic हो गया, do you feel, or do you feel connected?
Yes, I do. This is gonna sound so. I have such a specific answer for this. It's so strange. There's this Indian illustrator, Rajiv Ait. His work, there's this way he draws. He has this very reoccurring character of this dadi. Sari pehni, unka blouse ki sleeve yahan tak hoti hai. So her elbow is showing, and he has a very specific way of drawing that arm ka curve and the elbow. That reminds me of my dadi's flabby arms because she was also like a heavy woman. And I'm like, wow. He's not like, it's not like realistically drawn, but he just captures that essence so well. So his work for sure. And it's like bahut choti nuances that I see in a lot of people's work. So for sure, and it's always a very specific detail like this, nuances basically. So yeah, that for sure. I don't know if you follow him on Instagram, but the Shehzad Shah wala banda, he's so funny.
Oh, sorry.
He makes these. I feel like his Instagram handle is Shehzad Show. I'm not sure. I think his name is Shehzad something. But he makes these funny videos on Instagram that make no sense whatsoever. And you were earlier asking me if I have any like artists I look up to or any influences. I feel like is tarah ki nonsense on the internet that I'm scrolling through before going to bed. That's the content I'm intaking, or mera kaam isliye is tarah banta hai, because it's just it's so absurd, but it's so relatable. So many things so relatable, and I feel like his videos for sure. I don't know, people who are listening, they're probably like ye kya baatein kar rahi hai, but him for sure.
How do you block yourself from the noise?
From the noise? What kind of noise?
It could be any kind of noise. It could be noise outside. It could be noise around you. It could be noise within you. So how do you block yourself? How do you block that noise?
I don't block it.
You live it? You let it pass through?
I ramble, I talk, I vent. एक दो लोग हैं मेरी जिंदगी में जिनसे मैं बहुत rants करती हूँ. I can't block that noise. किसी ना किसी तरह तो वो निकलनी पड़ती है. I'm a crier. So I need to let out things. I can't block them or ignore them or avoid them or let them just pass. No. I have to really sit down and feel them and sit with them until it's passed.
Dissect them, interrogate them.
And overthink about them, overanalyze them, think of the worst possible scenario. And जब पूरा अपना process नहीं कर लेती तो तब तक I can't feel okay about it. So yeah, I really have to go through it. I can't block it.
That's a very powerful attribute, actually. Not many people have it. So I think you're privileged to feel that. You're privileged to process it and let it out. And I think a great part of credit goes to people who are listening, because a very important part for creative people is that we also need people to listen to us. People are watching our work. We have eyes. We also need ears, right? We need people around us to listen to us and listen to us without judgment, without expecting any justification or creating a certain kind of, a set rule or barrier, कि ऐसे ही बोलो, ऐसे ना बोलो. And so it's just like, that the complete freedom to experience that noise and to be noisier than that noise, right? So that noise is compelled to just shut down. I think that's interesting way.
इतना बड़ा पहाड़ में था नहीं जितना तुमने मुझे बना दिया है. And जब तक मैं ना उसको exaggerate करके really it has to sink in, वरना yeah.
So tell me, what convinces you that your creative contributions, if you're working for Shehri Pakistani, if you're working for a song, if you're drawing something romantic, if you're drawing something humorous, if you're drawing for yourself, they're going to bring a change in the ever-changing society that we live in? What convinces you?
What convinces me that they will bring a change? I mean, just the fact that they exist, no? I mean, everything does. Whether it's bad or it's good, it does bring change. It does, leaving its mark. ये सारे footprints हैं. Everything's leaving its mark. हम तो खैर फिर artwork के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. Even these TikToks that people are making, and I love TikTok. I'm not on TikTok, but no, I really feel like I love how accessible it is to every single person. हर किस्म के बंदे के पास TikTok है. They have voices. Just because they don't know how to animate or draw doesn't mean I feel like everything that we're, especially on the internet now, that we're putting out, it's contributing to change, and it's these are all just our footprints. Of course they're gonna contribute. Just the fact that they exist, that's it.
So tell me, do you have a framework to effective goal setting for yourself? How do you set goals? Is there some methodology that you follow? Is it a mantra? Is there a formula? Is there a ritual or a practice or an exercise that you have for an effective goal setting? Not achieving that goal, but like just setting that goal, to just grow with that goal. Do you have any?
No, I'm not much of a planner. I do have goals, but वो बहुत vague हैं. Like मैं उनको setting goals is very easy for me. You just said कि achieving तो बाद की बात है. I can set so many goals for myself, and because I know कि मैंने अपने आप को मैंने छोड़ दिया अपने आप को प्रेशराइज करना और अपने आप को कहना कि अगर तुम ये गोल नहीं अचीव करोगी तो you're a bad person or you're not a great artist,
or you'd have the fear of missing out. तुम उस race में से out हो जाओगी.
Exactly.
Yeah?
I don't know what changed in me, but ये डर मेरे अंदर से निकल गया. And it has made it very easy for me to set goals. I want to make a graphic novel. I want to animate a feature-length movie all by myself. I want to illustrate more children's books. These are all goals I've already set, and I think about these often. कि अच्छा हाँ ये मैं किसी दिन करूँगी. Execution का मैं नहीं कह सकती. I'm not too good at, but I already mentioned that I need to be more disciplined. But setting goals, वो जो achievement वाला fear, I feel like जब निकल जाता है आपके अंदर से, it's easier to set more ambitious goals. Whatever जो दिल करता है बस सोचो के करना है. ये ना सोचो कब करेंगे कैसे करेंगे, बस सोच लो के करना है. Eventually, if you live with that goal in your head long enough, I feel like eventually you start subconsciously or consciously start working towards it. Yeah.
For my personal goal setting procedure, I always give a massive amount of credit to my husband, because when I met him, he told me like this very amazing aspect of a creative person, like of a creative process. It's just like, if there's any wish or desire, any goal in your mind that you want to do something, just say it out loud. Just say it out loud to the universe or to the space around you. If you're sitting somewhere, say it out, speak it out loud.
Put it out into the world. It becomes real.
Exactly. Don't think about whether it's achievable or not achievable, whether you have the money in your pockets or not, if your family is going to approve it or not, if you would be ashamed of it later or not, or you'd regret it. Don't think about those things. Just, set it out, leave it to the universe. It's going to bounce it back to you. And I carry it with me with such conviction. And the moment's like, मैंने ये करना है. And then the next 10, 20 seconds, they are spent in silence. It's just like I'm waiting for the universe to give it back to me.
Yeah,
But that has been so healthy, because I remember saying things, I really want to do this. They do actually come out. They do happen in my life, alhamdulillah. And it's just the power of believing in letting that goal out of your mind. Because वही वाली बात है, if you keep it inside your khopda, it's not going to go anywhere, because your skull is super hard, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like that's a very important part of setting a goal, or even dreaming about a goal, right?
I agree. I relate to that. Yeah.
Do you also speak it out to the world? You just say, I mean,
I speak it out to my friends.
Like you just said right now, you want to make a graphic. No, you want to make graphic animated videos. It's so amazing.
अब मैंने बोल दिया, हाँ.
Yes.
Now it's.
Yeah. And we are the witnesses. It's like, okay, yes.
You guys are the witnesses. That's what I was saying about putting my work up online. Recently पे मैं किसी को कह रही थी, they were like थोड़ा वो doubtful थे कि अच्छा नहीं मैं काम लगाऊं, should I make an art account? I was like, कर लो. Doesn't have to be good. Doesn't have to be the most amazing work you've ever made. Just make bad things and just start uploading them.
Yes.
And even if they're bad ideas, they're good ideas. They're totally ambitious goals जो आप कभी imagine नहीं कर सकते कि अच्छा ये होगा कैसे. Just I say it out loud to my friends a lot. That helps.
That's wonderful. And I hope your friends who are listening, who are tuned in and are going to watch later, they also keep that with them. And thank you for sharing that. On that note, I'd like to ask the last question. I can go on and on. I mean, this has been so easy, so convenient, so fluent with you. It's so nice to connect with someone who also thinks about things and the sensitivity about drawing, illustration, and just adding fun to things, right? So if I ask you to give 3 positive affirmations to yourself, what would they be?
That positive affirmations to myself, that my self-worth is not defined by my work. I feel like I need to separate that from mera kaam acha hai, bura hai. It does not define who I am as a person. And I really I'm still learning that. If I make a bad painting, or if I make a bad illustration or a bad movie, then it doesn't mean main jo hoon wo hoon, mera kaam alag hai. It says a lot about me, but it doesn't define my self-worth. Another positive affirmation, 3 bolna zaruri hai.
One is done. 2 more.
One is done. 2 more.
These are for yourself, by the way.
These are for myself. इसलिए मैं सोच रही हूँ.
Yes.
Positive affirmation. I feel like. I feel like it's okay that you're not much of a talker and you're more of a drawer. I think that's the second positive affirmation. Abhi ye कहती है. Oh, this is so hard. This is the hardest part of the entire talk.
It's the best part, though.
It is true. Like, Am I taking too long? I'm thinking really hard.
No, take your time.
Do you have one you would give yourself so I can cheat off you?
Just a basic, I love you. To yourself, yes. Because that is something which empowers you. That is something that enables you. That's something that makes you stronger.
Yes, that's true.
Would that be a good third positive affirmation to yourself?
Yes, कि मैं जो हूँ, मैं जैसी हूँ, it's fine.
Yes.
And I will keep growing. there's only one way up, right? ऐसे
Yeah.
नहीं मैं, as long as I'm just going इस तरह वो इस speed पे या इस speed पे, as long as I'm growing, जो मैं हूँ मैं ठीक हूँ, I'll get there at my own pace. And yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. This was
Thank you for
amazing.
talking. I think it's a gift. It's a gift for us.
How
And
long was I going on for?
thank you very much. And I
Thank you
hope
so
you
much.
have enjoyed it. And I hope the questions that were asked and the concerns that were shared, the conversation that we've had, it helps you. It makes you feel good about yourself and about your work. And I hope it empowers you beyond limit. I hope it makes you feel stronger and be more proud of yourself. Yes. Because we obviously we are the diehard fans, and we are the biggest cheerleaders there. And I wish you all the best for your life.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And to all of those who joined us, who are listening to us, thank you so much. It means a lot that you've taken out time from your amazing life and your busy schedules, and you listen to this amazing artist and myself. And I hope to see you all again for the next one. Thank you so much for contributing in this venture. It means a lot to me. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.